Good morning to you. I'm really glad you are here and made it almost on time. I would like to take the first time because we are a rather remarkable group. I would like to take the time on bus to introduce myself so that everyone knows who you are spending the day with. My name is Rugi, R-U-G-I. That is what you need to remember. And I am here in Rostock. Actually, I came from Rostock this morning, which is 60 miles up north at the Baltic coast. And I am teaching in Rostock, usually. I took this side job many years ago, more than 25, because I like it so much. I stayed in this job as well. So I think we have a beautiful countryside. We have a beautiful Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. That is actually where we are right now. So we are in Schwerin. And does it work? Yeah. And I would like to show you around the city. And I think since I'm teaching, I think it's always good to know where we start. And that's why I brought the map. And I would like to explain that a bit, because we are in former East Germany, and you know that we were divided in East and West Germany. So in 1961 we got this horrible wall which divided East and West of Berlin, and of course East and West of Germany was also divided not by a wall but by a bordering fence. And today is a very historical day. I don't know if you know, but this is the day of reunification. This is the anniversary day. So in 1989, Germany got reunited. I grew up in former East Germany. I was born in the former East, and maybe later on, when you are having questions, you could, of course, ask me. I think I can tell you one or the other story that you would not read in textbooks. But let's have a look at the map. So maybe you can take my glasses for a moment. So here you can see the map of Germany, and you see all these colorful spots. We would say they are the countries in our country. So we have new countries, that is former East Germany, and that is where my hand is right now. So this is former East Germany. You see, it's relatively small in comparison to the former West. The capital of former East Germany was East Berlin. Berlin is right here, and we are here, and all of it, Schwerin, for instance, is in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which is the most northern state of the former East. And you might ask yourself, well, why do they still speak in terms of East and West? Aren't they united? Yes, we are, but people who grew up in the former East still have a past. And somehow we are also proud of this. But I have recently seen a documentation which also kind of shocked me, because it showed to me we have a past. And somehow we are also proud to have in this new Germany. So they have the impression that they are neither seen nor heard. I think this is the time when we have to say goodbye to old illusions and also to nostalgia. We should look into the future. But when you look to your left-hand side, we will also go to this building. There you see these figures, and you see, so there are still some problems with money in the former East, for instance. So especially culture is maybe less supported, and the actors and also the people who are involved in culture, in theater, are worried about the future of their theater. But when you look to your right, then you will see there are also treasures here in East Germany, and I think that you came for those treasures. And I would also like to talk a little bit about this building on the left-hand side, though you will have, of course, a guided tour inside this castle. It is a fairy tale castle, and what you see looks older than it actually is. So this, what you can see right here, was built in 1847 up to 1857. So it's relatively new. We call that castle the Neuschwanstein of the north. We call also Schwerin the city of, or we say it is the Florence of the north. And we also say this is the fairy tale city. So because of the castle, and also I would say a fairy tale like countryside that we have here. We have 13 lakes in Schwerin. And the biggest lake is Lake Schwerin. That is the lake that surrounds the castle, and we could say it's literally floating on it. So we have 4 old parts of the former castle which survived. And we can see them from the inside. We can have a look at the facade of the oldest parts. They are from the 16th and 17th century. So, but long time ago, there was a man called Niklot. Full spots. We would say they are the countries in our country. So we have new countries, that is former East Germany, and that is where my hand is right now. So this is former East Germany. You see, it's relatively small in comparison to the former West. The capital of former East Germany was East Berlin. Berlin is right here, and we are here. And all of it, Schwerin, for instance, is in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which is the most northern state of the former East. And you might ask yourself, well, why do they still speak in terms of East and West? Aren't they united? Yes, we are, but people who grew up in the former East still have a past, and somehow we are also proud of this. But I have recently seen a documentation which also kind of shocked me, because it showed to me the story of Jesus when Peter and Jesus is caught and Peter denies him.
Right.
And he denies him 3 times
Before the
cock crows.
Okay.
And that is why we have the rooster on top of such churches.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and so actually they said that is for Protestant churches, but not for Protestant churches, but we have them on most of the churches. And this on what you see here behind, so I use the time a bit before everybody is here. This is a little train, they call it Peter Mannequin Peter. And Peter Männchen is the ghost of the castle. So he's a tiny man, you will see him later on, with a hat and a beard. And he is friendly to people, but more like consciousness in town to people who live in the castle, or who lived in the castle. Briefly, here we see the former town hall. It had always been in this place since 1338. I mean, not exactly this building, so the medieval part, which is left, is here, right here. But, so there have been predecessors, but that was the place for the local authority. And since 1835, we have this building that you can see here, and it is a listed building. So it was made in a Tudor style. and it reminds us of English castles. At least they say so. And what is maybe more interesting for you right now is that which you can use now. I will be racing here, and when the move is completed, then I give you information about the treatment and the other things. I will be the story of Jesus when Peter and Jesus is caught and Peter denies him.
Right.
And he has to, or he denies him 3 times
Before the
cock crows.
Okay.
And that is why we have the rooster on top of such churches.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and so usually that is for Protestant churches, but not for Protestant churches, but we have them on most of the churches. And this on what you see here behind, so I use the time a bit before everybody is here. This is a little train, they call it Peter Männchen, Mannequin Peter. And Peter Männchen is the ghost of the castle. So he's a tiny man, you will see him later on with the hat and the bear. And he is friendly to people, but more than consciousness to harm to people who live in the castle or who lived in the castle. So they protected the people, the good people, but he was kind of nasty to the others. Yeah. So where are they staying? I know. In the beginning. So maybe I bring some. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I brought a picture of 2 politicians, so we use our time now.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask you if you know that person.
Helmut Schmidt.
No.
Isn't it?
No?
Carson,
Yeah. So this is the
Chancellor.
Chancellor, exactly. Do you know his name? The name of the German Chancellor.
the present Chancellor.
Yeah, the present Chancellor. Olaf Scholz is his name. And do you know the party? It is also the Social Democratic Party of Germany. Yeah, so his name is Scholz. Then I brought a picture of another politician that I wanted to show you, and I didn't want to make it too easy. So I have chosen that picture.
Merkel.
Exactly. Don't you see that? So her facial expressions
You can't see it.
are still the same somehow. And what I found rather interesting is that she has still got the same haircut. Can you see that? So, and she's still able to smile at that picture. So we are actually a bit sad that we have lost her. I mean, in inverted commas. But I think she actually made a lot of amazing things, and I think this was a 1961 exactly. Do you know in which month? No? That was when the reunification was in November, but the wall was built on the 13th of August in 1961. And that meant, of course, also to people in this city, in East Germany, that from then on life was very different. We could not travel to the West. We could not visit our relatives in the West. The relatives could come over into Germany. They could visit us here. For instance, my grandparents lived in Bavaria. That is in the very south of former West Germany. And until I was 20, that was the first time I got the permission to visit my grandparents. Up my grandparents always came over in the summer to visit our family or their family for 4 weeks in the summer. But apart from that, we had contact via post or maybe sometimes telephone, but you knew that there was somebody who was also listening when you were having a phone call.
Oh, wow.
My father used to greet the people who are listening. So, but yeah, that was really special and really something strange at that time. Apart from that, I would also like to mention that I had a great childhood. As a child, you don't read the Stasi, you know, you have probably heard about that. And it would, for instance, not be possible to talk to you here on the markets where if we still had those old times. You could not come here. We did not have any cruise ships here in the north. Yeah, so the first time when we had a cruise, that was in the 90s, really. And I remember the second, or maybe the second biggest ship at that time, the QE2 came to Warnemünde. And the QE2 could not dock in Warnemünde because the mole was not deep enough. So they had to dock in the Baltic. And then there were little shuttle boats who brought the people to this place. That was really funny, of course, and really something special for the people who lived there. Now we are used to it. We have about 4 cruise liners a day in Warnemünde. Yeah, so up to 4 cruise liners. That is normal in the summertime. In the winter, on the other hand, it is so sleepy that you think, oh God, am I still alive? So there is a big contrast between summer and winter, and the seasons are rather short. I would like to show you the other picture. And that was when we had this reunification. And you said it already, it was in November 1989. And I actually wanted to ask you, how come that suddenly we got the chance to reunite 2 parts of Germany? Do you actually know?
I just remember
Reagan was part of it, of
speech.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gorbachev as well. So perestroika, glasnost, which means reform and openness. And that was the time when a new spirit came up everywhere in these Eastern Bloc countries. And then, of course, people in East Germany were braver. And that was also a place here where we are standing now, which was involved in that. We had those Monday demonstrations. And people gathered also in this church here, which is from 1416. And people came here and said, we are the people, so wir sind das Volk in German. And they wanted, of course, to travel, they wanted the freedom of speech and so on. And they were protesting. And the Stasi watched, of course, carefully, but they did not dare to interfere because they were not sure whether the Russians with Gorbachev would still back them up. So then there was, of course, they could feel the politicians in East Germany, they could feel something needs to be done, otherwise we will have a revolt or whatever. So they thought that they could maybe...
Sure, bud. Sure, bud.
So what's that statue for?
This is a victory column.
Victory column.
For the victims of the war.
Okay. Thank you. statue column. Victims of war. see from here this lake, and at the back you can see the castle right here. This is the Schwerin castle, back of the castle. So this is how nice the castle is. And this is the lake. Tons of ducks. Here is a different kind of ducks. Black, the good deeper.
cái video nào dài nhất mà bạn không cần thiết ấy.
Cái nào tóc cũng thấy cần thiết, cái nào tóc cũng thấy cần thiết, cái nào tóc cũng thấy đẹp hết, cái nào cũng xấu và xấu mà. Gửi đây.
Đây đi, lại bị thú lại. Você apareceu, não?